But we're back. So are we renaming this podcast?
We back. Are we doing what?
We're renaming this podcast for season 2.
Bless you.
I thought so.
I'm here for it. I guess welcome back to CONCACAF season 2, name pending.
Oh yeah.
Name
Name pending.
Nickname is
Podcast
pending.
name pending.
It's been a whole summer since we talked. Well, about soccer. Anyways.
Not a whole. Oh.
On video. It's been like a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's been a year.
Since we
I thought
first
did
tried to do a video?
January.
It's damn near a year. Closer
Yeah,
to
it's been a
January
year
right
since
now
we-
than we are in January this year.
Like it's been a year since we've done it, or
Our last upload was July 9th.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
No.
We're talking about video.
Before that, it was
video.
May 14th.
I'm talking about video.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh my god.
What?
Let me go
Just
look.
how far apart our
last two uploads. I know.
Yeah.
Our first
To be
video
fair-
podcast was uploaded on January 23rd.
To be fair, we had two people who had to move out of the recording spot.
Yeah.
And that was a hectic month for both of y'all since both of you guys were moving.
Was it?
And then we had Mexico, which was
We did have Mexico. We'll always have Mexico.
It's the summer in general, so there's not really much to talk about apart from transfers.
I mean, we can talk about the beginning of the season expectations for our clubs.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about our predictions. I mean, we got 2 days before the Prem starts. So, maybe talk about that.
Football is back.
Yeah, football's back. Talk about
Football is back.
the biggest transfers. I know Arsenal have a big one we need to talk about. Tottenham continue to bring in potential youth. Looks like they're trying to redo what they did under Poch. Man City, or Manchester City, and Chelsea have Pochettino and continue to also go through. So there's lots of things we can talk about.
I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying that, like, in terms of like games and stuff. I guess there's MLS, and I guess the Saudi league too. But we're waiting for the actual side.
This guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess where we can start is really we can start with some of the transfers that have gone down. Like, what is his name? Rice.
Messi to Inter. Oh, or that.
No,
Yeah.
we'll get to Messi too, but
Declan Rice.
yeah, Declan Rice going to Arsenal. Brendan, how do you feel about that?
Well, considering we lost Xhaka
Xhaka.
and Partey.
But you guys lost Partey?
Didn't you go to the Saudi league?
No, not that I'm aware of. You tell me.
Oh, maybe I was just thinking that we did because I know he was heavily linked with the Saudi league.
Let me see.
I know. I think Arteta wants to get rid of him. I mean, probably too late now. I think Declan Rice will be good for us. Do I think we overpaid for him? Yes, but
He's still in your guys' roster, by the way. Just saying.
all right. So, well, I know for sure that at the beginning of the transfer window, he was linked heavily with the move away. So maybe that's why I thought he was gone. And I mean, we might still get rid of him because we're linked with Douglas Luiz right now. So.
Oh, from Aston Villa.
Yes. We're actually in a race with them with him with Spurs.
Yeah, I wonder who's gonna get him.
Well, yeah, it says the player wants Arsenal too, so that doesn't look good for y'all.
I don't want him anyway.
Oh, fair enough. And then obviously we just got Raya on loan with an option to buy.
Yeah, because I saw Matt Turner left today, or they announced this going to Nottingham, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Wait,
No, it's
no, he's a purchase. I think they bought him for 12 mil.
It's a permanent purchase, yeah.
Oh shit!
He
I
has to
think
start. He has to start. There's no way Dean Henderson
He
starts,
will.
and
Yeah,
if
he will.
and if Keylor Navas starts, I'm
I mean,
flabbergasted.
what's wrong with Keylor Navas starting?
Nothing. But if
He's
you're buying,
alone. He's back. He's not on their team anymore.
oh, they go
well,
back.
there
I
you
thought
go.
they did a. I thought they did a final purchase. I was to say, even if he was there, you don't buy a
It was a
28-year
six.
goalkeeper
It was a
that can
6-month loan
start
from PSG.
to keep him as backup.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Dean Henderson's a bad keeper, so
No, but Dean Henderson's also still very early on in his career, and he's
How old?
not. He didn't have a great first season.
He's 24 or 25. He's somewhere around there.
Yeah, but he really hasn't played. He played what? He played the full year at Sheffield on loan. Didn't play a whole year for Manchester United. Finally moved to Nottingham. Like I think that was his third or his second full season playing like first team top flight football.
Hmm.
And he didn't have a great second season after a phenomenal first one. So, I mean, what can you
It's
do?
also kind of hard to have a good season when your defense is shit.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
like all the
I was gonna
goalkeepers that they
say-
brought in were. I mean, they were good. Like they were solid, but of course they're gonna let goals in whenever.
They weren't that solid.
Again, like they were solid enough to keep them up. So
Weren't they what? They were 17th, right?
yeah, they were in it, or I don't know where they finished last season. I think they finished like 15th or 14th or 15th.
Yeah, Keylor
Not
Navas
super-
kind of
not super
came.
high,
Whoa.
but-
No, I was gonna say Keylor Navas kind of came in and he kind of stepped aside for Keylor, and Keylor did better than he would have, to be fair. But I mean,
I
Keylor
miss a
Navas.
joke.
No,
Come
Brandon's
on.
being stupid.
No, because all you said was Keylor Navas came.
Yeah, I was stopped because Daniel wasn't done talking, so I was just gonna continue going. But you're a fucking child, Mister. Can I get a number 3? Dry.
Oh, is that funny to you?
No, it was so stupid to me. It was the way,
This is
but-
why the European twats shit on
but it was the way you said it.
some less American footies.
What do you mean? The way I said what?
Dry. Anyways,
Okay. And then well,
yeah, we had
nobody seems to be making a move for Balogun, or there's no serious moves for him. So
I think it's the price tag
probably so.
because,
What?
like,
I was just gonna say that Nottingham finished 16th. That's all I had to say.
okay.
Did some really deep, did a real deep dive real quick for you guys. You're
Okay.
welcome.
It's because I don't think Arsenal Slim go for anything less than 25 mil, but they're not budging. Last time I heard from their $50 million price tag of him, and
Yeah,
a
50
lot
mils.
of and a lot of news outlets that I've read, because the same thing was going with Chelsea when they got laughed at for buying Jackson for 40 mil only after one full season of like top flight football, like in first division, like, you know, before his loan at, was it Lille or Nice that he was at? Bellingham?
Who's Jackson?
Nice.
It was Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackson, the Chelsea
No,
striker from
it
Valencia.
was Reims.
It was Reims. It was Reims. You know, and
Yeah.
he did very well, to be fair to him. You know, and I think he deserved the attention he's gotten. I just think that 50 mil after one season, you know, that you always run the risk of it could go either way. I mean, he could continue to be phenomenal. But 50 million is a steep price. I feel like if he did it again at Arsenal this season, then 50 million would probably be a better, more negotiable term, I guess. Like a more negotiable fee, a more understandable fee. But also, if he does it for Arsenal, I don't know why he would leave.
Yeah, I think if he had a similar season to the season he had at Reims, we'd probably look to get rid of Nketiah.
Which is kind of wild to me because, I mean, I haven't seen much of his play style, and I don't know if it's for Arteta to be very, you know, very pro Gabriel Jesus and Nketiah, it just seems like either he doesn't rate Balogun's ability, which I don't think is the case, or he just doesn't like the way Balogun plays. But Balogun can hold the ball up and can link up play too, so I don't understand why he's so not willing to give him an opportunity.
It's probably because
Yeah.
now they're in the Champions League. They're properly fighting for the title.
Yeah, but they have now 3 strikers that are first team quality.
Also, but also not that there's no reason. I mean, it's impossible, but he's capable. Gabriel Jesus is capable of playing out in the wings because he's done it at City. But I know that they've already invested a lot of players out wide,
The thing
like
is with
Trossard. Huh?
the thing is with Jesus is we don't need like a center forward or attacking midfielder because we already have Odegaard and Vieira that could play there. And then we don't really need wingers because we already have Saka,
No, that's what I'm
Martinelli,
saying. Yeah,
Trossard, Smith Rowe. Well, Smith Rowe could play. Wait,
he can play both in the midfield out wide too, right?
Yeah, he can. He played left wing his first season, I think.
who did?
No, I'm pretty sure he played in the midfield.
Not exclusively, but Smith Rowe. Oh, you turned your
Hold on a
camera off.
second.
You scared? You ran the way?
No, I'm looking something up.
Oh, okay.
Um,
But that was always my first thought. The only thing I can think of, I mean, I haven't watched much of Balogun, but the games I have seen him in, he seems like he can hold up the ball really well. I don't know much about I know he can hold the ball up and put passes through in the space out on the wings, which I would assume is what Arsenal would want to do. But I don't know whether his I don't know what the term is, but I guess his playmaking ability is the same as Gabriel Jesus. I don't know. So I mean, the only thing I can think of is just tactically, it's not what Arteta wants.
talking about Balogun or Nketiah?
Balogun, because also that's the thing is except for the hold up play, Balogun and Nketiah to me are similar,
Yeah.
similar players. I just don't know how well Balogun is on holding up the ball because most of the time he's running into space. So I don't know.
I think
I don't know what the difference is because to me at the moment, I say you just keep all 3.
yeah. And with the way that injuries will
Mm-hmm.
probably affect one of the
Oh
strikers, I think it'd be a good
yeah.
idea. Or just the injuries that we could potentially have in the team. I think you're right with Balogun and Nketiah being similar players, like same playing style.
Mm-hmm.
And I think personally, if Balogun and Nketiah are given like the same opportunity, I think Balogun will outperform Nketiah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just it sucks because I like Nketiah and I don't want to see him leave, but you can't have.
3
Well,
strikers.
it's a luxury that Arsenal can't afford to have. To have 3 uh, strikers that could start in the same team. Um, I mean, if Jesus just, which I don't see it happening, if Jesus doesn't perform well this season, then I think the pretty obvious choice would be to get rid of him. But then you have 2 strikers that play the same, which you don't want, which I think is a good thing why we have Jesus in there because he has a different play style than Nketiah and Balogun. So I think we'll keep him for the long run. But then it's like, who do we get rid of, Nketiah or Balogun?
If it's me,
Logistically,
I
go ahead. My bad.
no, you're good. I was gonna say if it's me, just like I said, the 2 of them are very similar, but from what I've seen from both, um, Balogun offers you more physically and aerially than
Mm-hmm.
I think Nketiah does. Now I
Yeah.
don't I personally would rather get rid of Jesus and keep Nketiah and
Balogun.
Balogun, yeah, because they have, they are very similar, they do both function very differently in the team as well. You know, they move different. They read the game very differently. They offer different things. So I mean, like whether it's speed, whether it's their ability to break the lines, ability to break an offside trap, whether it's holding up play and being an aerial threat, I feel like they both offer something different. And honestly, towards the end of last season, you know, Gabriel Jesus' injury seemed more like a blessing because Nketiah got a lot of playing time. And honestly, Nketiah, for what you want from a striker, I think outperformed Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah. It was good for him to get more playing time, but I still think we need a striker that has the link of play of Jesus' ability, which, I mean, you could
Kai.
argue that we could just put Martinelli in that position
Yeah, but
instead.
you also have Kai Havertz.
That is true, and
Who can play like a false
don't
nine.
know how he's gonna fit into this team.
Fraud.
I think he's
Fraud.
gonna start ahead of
Fraud.
Vieira.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking fraud.
So I mean, he's good depth, but I don't know where exactly he goes in this team.
That's fair.
Because he's a fraud. Bro, the agenda that he can play up top is fucking baffling.
Yeah,
I
and
can
we saw that.
understand why at Chelsea, but like, he's doing it at Arsenal, and there's no need for him to be there.
And we saw that in the City Arsenal game.
Yeah,
They won though.
on a penalty
in
shootout.
spite of him.
They won.
On a penalty shootout.
Say whatever you want, though. You're just mad because he took a Champions League away from you.
Oh my god!
I mean, we won one 2 years later.
Yeah, but you could have won one 2 years before.
Ancient history.
Ancient.
It's true.
Well, I guess that's a good place to stop with Arsenal and go on to your.
Well, I'd like to talk about one more player that we signed.
Ooh,
He's a fraud.
Timber.
Okay.
Yeah, Timber. Apparently, I didn't watch the game, so I don't know, but apparently performed extremely well against City.
Timber is a very good player and he's very versatile. So, what are your thoughts on his role this season? Like, what do you think he could? Like, how important do you think he could be?
Brandon has never been more stumped on a basic
Listen,
question.
I think he'll be good.
Yeah, I think he'll be. I think he'll be good.
On such a basic question.
I know he looked flabbergasted.
He's like, how could you ask me that?
I'd have more to say if I watched him at all ever.
Oh,
but
wow.
I've never seen him play.
You could have just lied. You could have just lied. You'd be like, he was great at Ajax. You know.
I mean, he was great at Ajax,
but you never watched him. You just said you never watched
him.
Okay,
you
I've
you
never
straight up asked
watched
him the economical state of the world, and he froze like he had no idea what to do or what to say.
Listen,
you asked him like
you
where
said you
socially and economically, and he was just like, that was so funny. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm telling you, Brandon, you have tendencies, bro. This is why I said you're Ken. You got tendencies.
I just love Daniel earlier was like, this is why they shit on us for this stupid stuff, and Daniel just lost his mind.
No, I wasn't calling Brandon a fraud. I was calling Kai Havertz a fraud.
I know. No, I respect it.
Brandon, because he was so stumped on a basic question.
I respect.
I'm not gonna lie and say like, oh, Timber's great player. You should see the way he plays. Like he moves the ball. It's like, no, I've never seen him play. Like I'm gonna keep it real. I've heard that his performances at Ajax were good, and I heard that his performance against City was good, but I haven't personally seen him play. So I know he's a versatile defender, so we can play him. I think as at center back or right back.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good because I like a versatile player, and I would rather have Ben White in center back than Timber, I think. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to start. I don't know Arteta's plan is with him if he's just a depth player, because he could just use the same lineup that he did last year, which was Saliba, Gabriel in the middle, and then
Ben White and
White
Zinchenko.
at right back. Yeah, and yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely good for competition, healthy competition in the team, which is important because it keeps everybody at the top of their game. I'm not sure what my expectation is for him.
That's fair. Well, I guess last question we'll ask you is your first game of the season.
Yes.
I forget who you're playing. You're playing Nottingham, right?
Forest.
Forest.
Yeah, we play
Forest, yeah.
Forest.
What are just real quick? Give us your prediction for what you think the scoreline will be in the first game.
3-1, Arsenal.
Okay. Eddie, why don't we jump over to you and talk about the transformation that is being done this summer at Tottenham Hotspurs and how you're feeling
Yeah.
about that.
Feeling right now, I'm not so much concerned about where we finish, more so how we look. Like I'd be completely fine with finishing 8th again or 7th if we show signs of like more attacking and like fluidity and like we're actually like going at our opponents and not just sitting back. Like I just want to see that the vision is there, like more so than anything. So I guess I can really only be like my expectations can really only be shattered. Like they can't really be like lowered because I'm already just like, yeah, like I'm just gonna take this season as it comes. Like I think we'll be good enough to be in Europe, but if we aren't, we aren't. As long as there's a vision, I'm fine with that. Like I said, I'm more than okay with finishing 7th or 8th as long as I see the vision. And so far I see the vision. Like I haven't watched any of the preseason games, but I've seen the stats and like it didn't matter who we were playing, if it was West Ham or uh we played Barcelona and played really well with our second team even. Like every game it's like we have like 68% of possession. We had 30 shots to their 10. Like I like it seems like Ange's system is really the players are really taking it on and like really adapting to it. And yeah, I don't know, I'm excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic at the same time.
Right. Well, and I know that one thing I've noticed during your preseason is like the amount of goals that have been conceded. But I also know that you've just brought in Mickey Van de Ven and Ashley Phillips, correct?
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like there's another defender linked. Is there another center back linked?
Capsoba still,
Apsoba, yes. That's who it was. So, I mean,
Van de Ven, I think, is going to end up being the best signing we make this summer.
he looks good. He's been good for Wolfsburg.
He's 6'4", and he registered the highest. He registered the top speed out of any center back in Germany last season. Like I think he topped out at like 23 miles per hour, like in recovery speed, and he's 6'4". Like you don't often see guys that tall running that fast. So like he's a really exciting player, and he's only 22. So I'm really excited for him. He'll be a threat on set pieces, and also just having a guy like 6'4" dude in the back line is going to be really clutch.
Yeah, it looks like Ange is putting emphasis on that because I also know Alejo Veliz, that you just signed from Rosario Central. He's 6'2" as well. He's a huge giant, and he's 19.
I'm so excited for him. Yeah, I think he'll be good.
I mean, I really wanted to ask you, Eddie, was how do you feel? Because like you are someone that really emphasizes like the development of youth. Like you love seeing youth be given the chance and stuff. And in the last couple windows, you arguably haven't signed. You've signed more, I guess, like quote unquote stars, like established stars. Whereas this transfer window, it seems like they're going for a more youthful approach and a refresh of the squad. And I was curious how you felt about that.
Well, yeah, this is exactly what I think we needed. We know we're not going to win the league this season. We know we're probably not going to win the league next season. But to get young guys in, get them antiquated with Ange, get them learning the system, used to the system, in a couple of years time, like why can't we be challenging, as long as we have the right scouts, and we've taken like the Brighton approach is what I've seen on social media and from what I've read from like beat writers and stuff, that they really want to take like the Brighton approach with signing players. And I mean, we look at Brighton every year, they're really good, and they spawn random 17-year-olds from God knows where, and they light up the league and get a big move somewhere. So yeah, like this is exactly like you said, I love giving youth a chance, and hopefully that's what we're going to do. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Exciting. Well, that's good. Anyone else have anything to add about that or ask him?
I saw. Were you guys linked to Laporte?
Yes,
On a
we have
permanent.
been linked with Laporte. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Man City's Laporte?
Yes. We've been linked with Laporte since the beginning of summer, but it kind of died down a little bit when it looked like City were going to keep him, and now it's like starting to heat up again, the rumor mill.
Well, it's because
We
they
signed,
yeah.
oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Gavardiol?
Mm-hmm.
So, and with him being at the club now, there's just a really good because he would then be our. Hold on, we got Diaz, we got him, we got Laporte, we got John Stones, we have Ake. I feel like I'm missing somebody else. There's no need for 5 center backs, and Laporte barely gets enough playing time as is. So I like Laporte and I want him to stay, but we just don't. I just want to see what's best for him too. So I'm okay with just letting him go because I don't want to
Yeah, and
see.
like
I don't want to see a player with his talent and his caliber to just willow away on the bench. So
one, I think if he would be a really good he'd be a really good veteran to have with like Christian Romero, who's not young necessarily, but on the younger side, and still I think needs like a veteran partner.
yeah,
And someone like Van de Ven, who's only 22 years old, has never played in the Premier League before. Like having a guy like that in the team could be really helpful for their development. And Ashley Phillips, although he's probably going to get loaned back out anyway, because he's like, 18, I think. So he's not ready yet. But just having a guy like Laporte around, I think would do wonders for the young center backs we're trying to bring in.
and in general, he's a good cultural player
And
too. He'll
yeah,
bring a winning
exactly.
mentality at the club.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that move.
So my question was going to be, I saw a tweet and I'm not sure if you retweeted it or liked it. You did something with it, I think, but it said, if Spurs brought Laporte in, they become title favorites. What do you think about that?
I probably retweeted it because I was just, like hype me up. Yeah, like hype us up. I love it, but no, we're not title favorite. I don't even think Laporte makes us Champions League contenders. Well, maybe. That's a little harsh. Because I would say bringing in Laporte would make us like we should be getting at least Europa League.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we still have Kane, we still have Son, we still have Kulusevski. Now we have James Madison who can create for that front three.
Mhm.
And bringing in Laporte and having, Romero, Van de Ven, like that's much better depth in defense. So I would say we should be getting at least Europa League if we get Laporte. But I probably was trolling when I retweeted that because I don't
Okay.
I don't think we're title favorites. But whoever said that's really funny.
Okay.
Peep Rebel. In the back.
One
What?
thing I hope
I just said Peep Rebel in the back.
I know. He's a good cat.
Oh.
But one thing that I really hope, and because I don't hate Tottenham, I actually like go through spurts because I really enjoy the players they have and the way they play at times. Except unless it's against Chelsea. I really am hoping we get the Tottenham Hotspurs attacking-esque style that we had in 2015, 2016. Because I just look at your front line, with the addition of James Madison. And I'm just like, that could be so like they could be the most entertaining attack in the league.
They could.
Like
They could.
100%. And I hope they don't score against us, but I do hope they fucking rip everyone else up because I think it'd be so much fun to watch.
Well, Kane has. Well, they haven't had a creator like that since Eriksson.
Yeah, and I don't think Kane's leaving. After all the talk, I don't think he's leaving. I think Ange had a talk to him and be like, "Listen, just come here. Let me talk to you for a second."
I was gonna ask you, how did the links look with Kane to Bayern?
Like, here's my stance. Like, you can say what you want about Levy being shrewd and you know not willing to sell and not willing to buy, but he has bought this summer. You can't deny that he has spent money on this team. That he bought Van de Ven, he bought James Madison, which everyone thought we were going to be priced out for James Madison, but he was willing to spend the extra money. He bought Valise, he bought Phillips. We're looking at Tapsoba still. Vicario, yeah. Like, so he spent money.
Kulusevski on that to make it permanent.
So, to see a player like, no offense, Declan Rice go for what he went for, I don't blame him for holding out because if Declan Rice is a $105 million player, Harry Kane is at least 120. At least 120. He's coming off the best goal scoring season of his career.
160, I think.
There's no so everyone's like, oh, like, why isn't Levy letting Kane leave? Well, because they're offering us $80 million for a player who just had the best season of his career.
Yeah.
And Declan Rice went for 105 or whatever it was. So I've been glad that Levy hasn't succumbed to the pressure and sold him just because. And like, if Ange was able to convince him and the signings have been able to convince him, then I think it could be a good move for him to stay.
Yeah, for sure. Last question, and then we can move on. With the amount of signings you guys are getting, I know you guys have had a decent preseason. Are you at all worried about like the chemistry of the team?
Yeah. I think it'll take some time to gel. I'll just spoil this now and we can move on. But like, in my prediction, where do I have Spurs? I have Spurs in 7th.
Ooh. You know, honestly,
I think we're good. I think we're gonna show a lot of flashes, and I could see us having stretches where we're in the top 4, maybe top 3, but then we kind of start to lose a little bit. Maybe we don't get out to the best of starts in the world. So yeah, chemistry is something I've thought about, but yeah, I think we'll be okay at the end, and I think we'll end up finishing around 7th. I just think the top 8 this year is so strong that I just don't think we're quite ready to challenge for the top 6 yet.
I can't lie to you, Eddie. I look at your team, and the only thing that would make me a little bit concerned is the defense because it's been so refreshed. But honestly, if Van de Ven and Romero kick off well together, play well together, and you have Poro and who's coming back?
Destiny Udogie will start probably.
If they play well, I can honestly see you guys finishing top 4, maybe pushing.
It depends on the back line for sure.
I'm not concerned about that offense. I think James Madison just adds.
I'm not concerned about scoring goals. No,
I think that's why I mentioned that because one thing I've noticed in the preseason is you've conceded goals, but that's also been different lineups. It's preseason. I don't know how much you can read into it. So that would be my only worry. And also, obviously, how Vicario, is that his name?
Vicario, yeah.
Yeah. If he settles in well, which I do think he will.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good.
I think he might be, it'll be like a Jose Sa thing where he's like very underrated and people don't realize how good of a keeper he is.
Well, yeah, I had been seeing people who were going on Serie A Reddit after the signing happened, and people who watch Serie A religiously were saying that he's going to be the signing of the summer and that he was the best goalie in Serie A last season and he went under the radar because he wasn't on a good enough team. So like I'm really excited about him. I think he's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think it'd be fantastic.
But yeah, I think we'll finish 7th. I have a whole table predicted. If you want, I can read that later.
Yeah, I figured that we would talk about it. Go like real quick. Go from 20th to
20
first,
up, yeah.
and then but not like
Okay,
each
I'll
of
save
us.
it for later.
Yeah, each of us tell where we think everyone's gonna finish this season.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but
But all right, yeah,
but I think now
we can move on.
We move on to Senior Daniel and Manchester City, and your thoughts on what the with the departures of some big names like Riyad Mahrez,
Gundian.
Gundogan as well. How you think City? Obviously, I think City will cope, but why do you feel about your season this upcoming
My
season?
only thing with City, because we had like one of the pinnacle seasons that a club could have, which is winning a treble. I just want to see them be hungry again and not just settle. I just want them to be back up on the mark, and I just don't want this hangover effect because we've seen it happen multiple times in multiple different teams where they just really start dragging, and they don't. It's not like they have like a complete fallout or like they fall out of Champions League or anything like that, but performances definitely do drop. So, we made decent recruitment this summer. Um, I mean, we signed like one of the most promising center backs in the world. And then we signed a decent midfielder to replace Gundogan.
He's our best He was our best midfielder. He's not no decent midfielder.
Hey, I'm just saying with Chelsea's season last season, we're gonna. He was definitely you guys' best. He was. I will say this. He was definitely one of your best players, if not your best player.
Okay.
But and I'm not trying to shit on him because I do think he's a good player. But after the howler that Chelsea had, I think he's a decent midfielder. He is not good enough to fully replace Gundogan. He's definitely not. But he is a solid enough signing to where I'm comfortable with him being at the club. But that being said, my only concern is the hangover effect. I'm fine because I know we're not going to win another treble. At least not for a really long time. I know that. I just don't want us. I just don't want us to fall off so bad to where we're just unrecognizable and we're not competing like how we should be.
So City is kind of, I feel like recently they are known for being like second half of the season they really like hit their stride.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking about is like if I were City, I would be worried that maybe like, you know, like you said, like the treble hangover, like kind of like puff their chest out like, yeah, we just did that, we're so good, we don't have to take it like that might go on a little too long. And the fact that Arsenal strengthened and Chelsea looked strengthened, Newcastle obviously, United, like I think this year it's a lot more of a question mark at the top. Like I would be like maybe like thinking if we don't get off to a strong start this season, like I don't know if City would be able to catch up.
I mean, it's going to definitely, especially with the first game, because we're opening game. We're Burnley. We're away.
Burnley. Or is it away?
We're away. And
Okay.
that's going to be like and I know if we lose that first game, it's only one game out of 38 games in the league. But at the same time, it's definitely a tone setter for sure. So I I think for the most part our squad's fine. I would like to sign maybe a winger just to cope with Mahrez leaving. We don't necessarily need a winger, but that's just
But you
me
guys,
being humble. Yeah, just to replace Mahrez, but I just want us to get off on the mark. And and just perform well. We don't have to win every single game, although that's ideal. I'm not asking us to go for another treble or even win the league because
38-0-0 would be really nice.
I really don't think we're gonna even win this. I don't even think we're going to even win this league this year, to be honest with you.
I don't
It's
think
going to
so
be
either.
Liverpool Arsenal.
It's gonna be
It's
one of
going to
the
be
toughest
Liverpool
years
Arsenal.
in a long time.
I
I think we'll compete. I don't think. I think honestly, we might come up third. I think we're going to come behind either Arsenal or Liverpool, who win.
I think people are sleeping on Man United.
Dude, I was gonna say I think United's winning the league this season.
Oh,
I
don't
think so,
so.
too.
But Daniel, you also, I think another thing that might play a factor in City season is the potential like cloud the media that's going to be around the club if the trial starts this year or towards the first half of next year. You know, it could be something that could be a distraction. You know, because there's going to be people in question, like Pep Guardiola is probably going to be someone in question. And I'm just curious, do you think it'll be, because it won't be like what it was when the allegations first came out. It'll be a much more thorough thing, and I think it could be a distraction. I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Will they beat the allegations?
I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say anything because we've only had allegations. We've never had like a
right
full blown trial.
I mean, I meant more in the sense of like, what do you think? Do you think the distraction will be enough to cause turbulence in your guys' season, or do you think?
I think we're gonna have a lot of noise everywhere. To be honest with you, we're gonna have noise everywhere, whether it's the trial or if we lose a game. Because if we lose a game, then it's like, oh, City are now falling off, and they're not going to be the same team. And then when we start losing, they're going to start pointing the fingers at Pep for not being able to, I don't know, strengthen the squad or whatever. So we're going to have noise everywhere. And then on top of that, with teams like Arsenal, United, Chelsea, who are starting to strengthen their team, and for the most part, we haven't done that. We've just only been selling players. We've only signed 2 players, while Tottenham are having a whole full blown team. They're from the top down. They're just getting players. Arsenal signing big names like Declan Rice, Timber, and then you guys. Same thing with you and Tottenham with Chelsea, because you guys are having a whole. It's a because we're not really signing players right now, and we're just gonna have the same team. So we're just gonna have noise everywhere in all aspects of the team. So I'll just see how we cope with that. It's kind of hard for me to say anything because we haven't really. There's always been noise with us, but especially now with this season, since we won the treble, the expectation is to go for another treble, which is not going to happen. But I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see, and just see how things go, and take it game by game, and see what goes on from there. I think you're muted.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
In regards to you guys not signing a lot of players, first of all, you're still linked to Matoma.
Yeah.
So you guys could sign him to replace Mahrez.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not signing that many players is just because your guys' team is so complete already.
Right.
You're going to be able to. I mean, you're able to rotate the squad really well. You have a lot of depth, so you don't have to worry a lot about tired legs. So I think you guys will compete. Just as much as you did last season. Well, I mean, you guys won everything last season, so not compete, but you guys will be up in the races for sure. I think what you might need to be, I mean, we already talked about it, worried about is whether the players get complacent, which I don't think Pep will allow.
You won't allow it, but yeah, it's up to the players to decide if they want to push for a potential. Even though I know we're not going to go for another treble, not for a long time, just to go for another trophy, it means
Right.
something. So,
Yeah. The other thing is now you guys. I mean, you guys had a target on your back before. Now it's not just on your back. It's everywhere.
right.
Teams are going to be even more dirty against y'all, more defensive. It's going to be ridiculous, and it's not just going to be in the Prem. It's going to be every single competition you guys play in. So,
Right.
and with the dirty play, maybe comes injuries. So it just depends on how important those injuries are and how many you have at once. If you're able to juggle through all of them.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting season.
Yeah. Like I said, oh, go ahead.
Especially like what we've been talking about with all the teams that are going to be competing this season. I mean, it's going to be. I think Chelsea are going to have a pretty good season, first season under Poch. It might be a little bit of a struggle. I think they'll have some important games though against what'll be the top four. I'm not sure about Newcastle. I'm a little bit unsure about them. I don't think they'll finish in the top four this season. But then you have Liverpool, United, Arsenal. Spurs will still have a lot to say, especially since they're like your kryptonite. And then the other teams that aren't quite there, but they're still like the top 8, Brighton, West Ham, teams like that will
West
have
Ham
something to
top
say.
8.
Well, I mean, you look at actually never mind. West Ham.
That's a little
I forgot
generous.
I forgot where they finished last season. I'm thinking of season. I was thinking of the season before last season. But they've made some decent signings for themselves, so they might
They have.
they
It
might
could
end
creep
up
in
doing.
there. Top
Yeah,
10.
I'm not sure. Maybe not top 8, but
It could creep in the top 10.
Yeah, I could see them placing in the top 10.
yeah, for sure. And then so it'll be interesting to see what those teams that have made some sneaky good signings have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, my biggest concern is assuming if everything's okay legally with everything going on. My only concern is
That gives you confidence.
So what?
Nothing. I said that gives you a vote of confidence right there.
But yeah, assuming everything's fine, my only concern is can these players turn up again for another season? That's really my biggest concern. So
Yeah.
Me personally,
I mean,
we definitely have the players to compete. It's just a matter of do they want to compete because they just won treble.
I think
So.
losing Gundogan really, really affects the mentality of
He
the
was our
squad.
clutch player, man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially within the last 2-3 years at the club. So
I
he's
think
really been a difference at the club. So
yeah, I think his departure is very underrated, and yeah, I think that's going to be a big difference. And then Morris as well. Even when you guys weren't playing well, when he came on, he always contributed. So you're losing a lot of goals and a lot of presence in that team with a lot of experience on winning. So, I don't think it'll hinder him that badly, but I do think it's going to be more.
we can cope with those losses, but yeah, those are at the same time they are big losses.
Mm-hmm.
So
you also don't have a lot of depth in certain areas. Pep has a lot of players that can play multiple different areas, but the less players you have, the less
like
you
where?
have to work with. Well, you don't have that many players that can play on the right of the field. You have Bernardo Silva that can play on the right. You had Riyad Mahrez. I guess you have Kiki Palmer that's coming in if he actually starts this season.
Kiki Palmer?
What's his name? Not Kiki Palmer.
Kiki
Palmer.
Kyle Palmer, isn't it?
But there's Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
I don't remember what his name is. I think there was a Kiki Palmer that played for Chelsea years ago. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
I was like, who the fuck is Kiki Palmer at Man
But
City?
but I forgot his
I
name.
was thinking of the Disney Channel.
Oh, that's yeah,
Oh my
Kiki.
God.
But you know,
Kiki Palmer, yeah, from Nope,
She's not from Disney Channel. She's from Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, whatever, same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you really
Go
don't.
ahead.
But you really don't have that many players that can play on that right hand side.
We do.
Okay, who else can play on the right hand side?
He said
We
we
have
do.
Cole Palmer. We have
Bernardo Silva.
Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva.
Jack Grealish is gonna play on the right.
He's capable of doing it. I
But
mean,
you're-
he's more of a left.
But you're
he's
proving
more
my
of a left
point.
winger.
What that was my point is the sense of that. Yeah, you have players that are very versatile, but you don't have that much actual depth, like player per player. You know what I mean? Like position per position. You don't have 2 players per position. You have players that can play in multiple different spots.
Yeah.
And that I do think that while
It
it's
worked for us
worked,
last season, so
while it worked, I don't know if it'll continue to work.
right.
well
I mean,
as
yeah,
well.
it's only if the stars are aligned for us, but
Yeah.
I think we have enough quality to get by for the most part. It just goes back to what I said. I just want to see these players be up for it again
That's fair.
for a new season. I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but the fact that we have versatile players is also a blessing. Like I'm not
there's nothing wrong with
taking
it.
that. I'm not gonna take that with a grain of salt. Like I think the fact that we have players who can play in multiple different positions, like John Stones, prime example. Like he went from a center back to our defensive midfield, and he changed our midfield defensively. So I'm not. I don't think. I mean, you're seeing it as like a. And I don't know. You're not trying to like downplay it or anything, but you're also kind of saying it in a way where it's like we're gonna get hurt by not having like true players being in true positions where we've done it before in the past. So
No, not in the sense that if you play a player at position, it's going to harm you. In the sense that if an injury comes, if someone
Yeah.
gets injured, like if Bernardo Silva gets injured, you lose someone that plays in the midfield and on the right,
right.
and that's huge. And that's what I mean in the sense of lack of depth. It was fine
And then
before.
that's where versatility comes in. So
Yeah,
and I know
but-
where you come. I know where you're coming from, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying that like he'll also just like throw a wrench out there, but he'll only do it if it makes sense. So
But well, I mean, I guess in the sense that I'm going at is if there was an injury crisis like you saw at Liverpool this year. I'm not saying
Yeah.
there's going to be, but things have happened to
Mm.
lots of teams. If you lose, let's say you lose Jack Grealish, and then you lose Phil Foden, or if you lost Jack Grealish and you lost Bernardo Silva, right there, your wingers are cut down in half.
right,
And like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just mean that you continue to lose players because, like, if you lose, like I said, if you lose Bernardo Silva, you don't just lose a right winger. You lose a center midfielder.
Yeah.
And then you could play Julian Alvarez in the left or the right, but then you lose your backup striker.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like things.
No, I see where you're coming from, but
And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be versatile. What I mean is, I think the loss of certain players that have stayed healthy have been reliable, and not replacing them probably the best that City could, and adding depth to places where they probably need it, because the most depth they have is in midfield and defense. And so I just think that could be. I'm not saying they're gonna finish 5th. I'm just meaning that I could see them, like Eddie said, going, if something was to happen, going on a slow patch and not being able to catch back up like they did this season.
yeah. No, it's possible, and like I said, I want a winger to replace Mahrez and stuff, but yeah, I mean that's kind of like our biggest thing is just replacing the players that we've lost. Um, now it's just replacing Mahrez. Will we actually do it? I don't know. But no, I see where you're coming from, but um, we're just gonna have to hope and pray that we don't have an injury crisis or anything like that. Players are gonna get injured on every team, and that's normal, and that's you have to be okay with that. But yeah, we're just gonna have to hope that we don't have an injury crisis by any means.
That's fair.
So, yeah. Like I said, I've said it multiple times already. I just want us to go for it again. Even if we don't win anything, I just want to see just fighting spirit from the players. I don't want them to be comfortable that they've won a treble and they don't have to do anything anymore because they've completed club level football. So,
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah. Now it's you, Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea boy.
Let's hear it.
Well,
Everything from the signings to Poch to preseason.
well,
Did Nkunku already get injured? I saw.
it's a slight knock. It's nothing serious, but he may not play in the first game. But I guess where I could start off is Pochettino, and I knew I was gonna love him when he came in, but watching the preseason games, watching just the absolute difference tactically, um, and the physicality that he has instilled in the players, I really love it. And one thing that Chelsea have always been good at, that I'm excited to see, is always been able to develop good youth, and bringing in a coach that is known for working and developing youth like very well. It is a nice little, ray of hope. Now, I'm hoping he gets as much time as oh my god, I can't think of his fucking name. I've already forgot him like that. Graham Potter. Yeah, I hope he gets as much time as Graham Potter did, with Graham Potter struggling. And I think we've done a good job at clearing out a lot of players that didn't really want to be there. And, after the amount of bad signings that had real no plan behind them or thought process, it's nice to see them get off the books, and releasing players that were on high wages that weren't really playing. Um, just getting a new fresh start. You can really feel it. Like, it feels much more positive than it was before. Um, and Kuku got injured, and that's not fun, but it is also nice because we've got the likes of Gallagher, we've got the likes of Santos that can play back there in that cam role that most likely Nkunku's going to play. It'll be. I'm very excited, because it just, everything I've seen from preseason just makes me think that while we may not be title challenging, like, we are definitely going to be in and around that top 6 area. And with the likes of Jackson, who's looked really good since coming in, and I thought we overpaid for Jackson, and watching him play, linking up with Mudryk, linking up with Raheem Sterling, watching these guys play together, I do think that he is going to be very good. People are calling him Drogba 2.0. I don't know if I'd go that far. It's just because of the way he plays is very similar. He has
number 15.
Yeah, he plays. He's very strong. He's like very physical. He can link up play. I mean, and he can score goals. I mean, this season or this preseason, the 4 games, he scored 3 goals. Or no, he got 3 assists and 1 goal. And it wasn't ever. His movement off the ball is fantastic. It opens up space, drags defenders wide, and it looks much more energetic. So I'm very excited in that end to see what we can do this season. Yeah.
I had a question I was going to ask you, but I really don't remember. Unless one of you guys have a question.
I was just gonna say, getting some of the guys back from injury is gonna be nice too, because, like what Arsene Wenger famously saying, players coming back from injury is like a signing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be nice seeing that your guys' defense is fully back in order. Who did you guys sign a goalkeeper? You guys signed a goalkeeper, right?
Yeah, Robert Sanchez.
That's right.
I do. I was talking to Daniel about this the other day. With the signing of Robert Sanchez, a lot of people think that means the end of Kepa, but I really don't think Kepa isn't going to be our number 1 this season. I really, because with Kepa, he had that very bad spell under Frank Lampard and under
Mhm.
towards the end of Sorry. But the initial season we brought him in, he kept the third most clean sheets. Last season, for a big part of the season, he was unbeatable. He's very good shot stopper. It looks like he's getting out of those little mistakes he was making before. I mean, he's still not perfect, but I think you bring in Pochettino, someone that I mean, you look at what he did with Hugo Lloris. I mean, Hugo Lloris was already a good goalkeeper, but he took Hugo Lloris, in my opinion, to a whole different level. And I hope he can do the same for Kepa. Robert Sanchez, I love the signing. It brings in another player that is good with his feet, another good shot stopper, probably another underrated goalkeeper. I was kind of shocked because I really thought that Champions League for us, he would be going somewhere like Tottenham or to an Aston Villa or something. I I
Mhm.
I would be glad to see him play. You know, I want to see both of them get opportunities in Champions League group stages. I want to see each one get chances in the cups and stuff. Because I want them to fight for that number one position. You know, and I know Gabriel Solina was linked with a loan move. I can't remember exactly where off the top of my head.
He got it. He got the loan move.
Where's he going again?
Belgium.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where it was. It was Belgium, which I think will be fantastic for him to get a full season in Belgium. And I think the Belgium league is underrated, so I think that'll be great for him. And if we do, depending how he does, if Kepa, because I think this is the last year in Kepa's contract. If the contract ends and we don't renew, and he leaves, depending on how well he did, I could see him for sure being our second next season. And then I would like to see him, same thing, if we're in the Champions League again, um, getting some opportunities in there and giving him the chance to fight for the number one because I think that's the toughest thing. But I would also say I just want him to be patient because he is young and he has so much time as a goalkeeper. So that I'd rather with me, I'd rather, especially with goalkeepers, I'd rather take it slow and let them consistently do well until they're ready to take over, than just to thrust them in and if they do like poorly, just let them do poorly. You know. So because I don't think he's ready yet, but I do think with another year or two of like continuous first team football, I think he will be ready to challenge for the number one. Um, you know, maybe he won't. I think he will be. And like you said, with our defense, it is nice having our defense back to full strength. We have a lot of defenders. Um,
Mm.
we were built to play with five in the back.
One too many.
No, we were built to play with three center backs and wing backs.
Yeah.
And with Poch, we're playing four in the back. So realistically, we're gonna have to trim the squad down defensively. But you know, I like that Reece James and Chilwell today were named as captain and vice captain. But it also worries me because there are two players that arguably got injured the most. So you know
I
that's
think
go ahead.
I think Chilwell would be my main concern. I'm not so much worried about Reece James getting injured. Did he? I mean, I know for a fact Chilwell got injured a lot. Did Reece James? I don't. I thought Reece James just had like.
Reece James only played like 16 games last season.
Yeah, but I thought he just had the one major injury and it kind of kept him out for a while.
No, Reece James has always he's struggled to stay fit. I mean, the last two seasons he hasn't even hit 30 goals, 30 games. You know, and the season before that he played 32 games, but 7 of those were as substitutes. He only was able to start 25 because both that is one thing I do fully believe as a Chelsea fan that we probably have our fullbacks are probably top 5 in the world, but
Mhm.
they're not able to stay on the field, which I do think hurts us. But unlike if he gets injured this season, we brought in Malo Gusto, so that's nice to have instead of Aspilicueta. Which I mean, I loved Aspie, but you could tell it was just he wasn't at that level anymore.
Yeah.
And we also have like Ian Matson coming in, who does look like he's ready to step in. Cucurella, I don't think he'll be at the squad for much longer, but with that Spanish connection, we might see the Cucurella we saw at Brighton. So I'm willing to give him another season. You know, I mean, we had fucking Marco Alonso for 6 seasons, so I'm okay with giving Cucurella one more.
At least with Marcus Alonso, when he did play, but at the same time, yeah, very inconsistent. But
Mm-hmm.
when he was on his game,
Yeah, and I know Cucurella on his day he had some good games. You know, I know everyone likes to give him shit. I'm one of those that he didn't have a great season, but he did have some games where he played well. You know,
Who's he having that Spanish connection with?
Pochettino.
Pochettino.
I know it's
Pochettino's
not
Argentinian.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's not. I know, but I don't mean in the sense of like Spanish to Spanish. I meant in the sense of like the Hispanic culture. You know, like I do think that having someone that can speak to you in your native language helps a lot.
Right.
So that's what I meant. Not that it was two Spanish people with each other.
I'm not sure you've seen, but you brought a lot of emphasis on Kepa, so I just want to get your thoughts on this. Apparently, Bayern see Kepa as the heir to Neuer.
Yeah, there's a lot of clubs that are swarming around Kepa, and I do think that Chelsea fans, the large portion of them, forget that when we brought Kepa in, he was 24, and we've been going through a period. I mean, I know we won the Champions League 2 years ago, but since about 2018, we've been going through a really rough period that looked like we were focused on the now instead of the future, which led to a culmination of buying players that didn't make sense, you know, building a squad of basically, you know, mismatched players and attributes that really led to us, you know, having the season we had last year. Changing ownership, the ban we had again because of our owner during the whole Ukrainian, you know, siege that was going on when they were infiltrated. So there was a lot of chaos going around the club, and I know everyone's like, "Well, it doesn't change what's on the field," but that is hard when you have God. What we have like 7 managers in 5 years. Like it's not easy when you have that many managers being changed, having to learn new systems. But one player I do think that has improved over the years is Kepa, and I think, and I told Daniel this, I do think that we could win. Like Kepa can be a title-winning goalkeeper for us, and I also do think that he could win a Champions League with us. Like I do think that's his ceiling. Whether or not he reaches is a different argument, but I do think he has that ability, and he's only 28. In terms of going into your prime as a goalkeeper, he's not even there yet.
Right.
So I mean, I do think he is going to be. If he leaves us, I would bet you money that he goes on to win, like be one of the best in the world, like Courtois level.
Okay. And then
He's trying.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure you'd want to be Courtois level now, but
He's fantastic. I would take Courtois back in a heartbeat.
okay. Well, agree to disagree. Anyway,
he won a
you
Champions
guys have
League.
Lukaku back, right?
Yes. Yes, we have Lukaku back, I think.
What are you expecting out of him this season?
I'm expecting him to go right back to Juventus.
He's a striker.
Yeah, well, he is. There's a lot of links because he said he doesn't want to play for Chelsea, and we don't want him. And so he wanted Inter. He was like, "I'm only going for Inter." Well, Inter aren't willing to spend the money. So
Well, I don't think they can right now. They're in such financial turmoil.
Exactly. And so the big link I've heard is Juventus going for a swap deal with Vlahovic, but I don't.
Okay.
But I don't want Vlahovic. I'd rather just
Remember
sell.
when Vlahovic used Arsenal and Spurs as leverage to go to Juventus?
Bro,
I'll never forget.
man,
never
Remember that?
forget.
man knows how to make drama. You know, man knows how to make people act.
Well, he
But-
fizzled out, so I'm not mad.
Well, I think he would.
Facts.
I think he'll be good. I still think he would be. I don't. He played well for Juventus this second season, his second full season. Like, I know it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but I mean, to be fair, Juventus also weren't phenomenal either. And I mean, they're not even in Europe because they got that
Well-
ban, right? Or that 30-point deduction, 15-point deduction.
It was 15. Honestly, it did better than what it seemed.
Oh, I agree.
Because of the deduction. I think they would have ended up finishing
Second.
second, yeah, without the deduction. But I mean, everybody was so far off the pace of Napoli that it didn't really matter.
And I think you watched everyone else's performances in Europe, besides maybe Inter, where you were just like, I feel like a lot of the Italian teams underperformed this season. Because I mean, it was great for Napoli; they picked up form right when everyone else lost form. Because had AC Milan, Juventus not gotten the ban, Inter had been able to keep some of their players, I do think that it would have been a much closer title race. But yeah, I don't really see Lukaku being a figure in our team. Like I don't see him. For me, keeping him is almost crazy.
Detrimental to the squad.
Yeah, because he also doesn't want to. Like I said, he doesn't want to be there. Like he genuinely has said he does not want to come back to Chelsea, and
He's just going to be spreading Chelsea propaganda, anti-Chelsea propaganda.
yeah, I don't want him.
Media.
I don't want him there. I mean, if that's how he feels, and he's has his right to feel however he wants to feel.
Yeah.
He should leave, and and I think he's not going to get the move he wants, so he's going to have to deal with the move he's going to get.
Okay.
Also, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but have you guys also seen Juventus? They also, well, it's more like the fans. Like
Don't
the
want
fans have
Lukaku?
been like, they've been chanting that they don't want Lukaku in preseason in the
Probably
stadium.
because he's black.
And then, no, it's probably because
Facts,
he shits
probably.
on his fucking clubs, apart from Milan. So he'll bend over for them. But anyways,
You're
the
not wrong.
Juventus Ultras have also went. I don't remember exactly what they said. They said something along the lines of like, "You don't deserve to be at Juve. Plus, we already have another goalkeeper who can do a better job than you."
Goalkeeper?
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, they said goalkeeper because he blocked.
Oh!
That's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about
So they were like, we don't need you. We already have a goalkeeper. Like they said something among those lines.
That's
I'm
wrong.
like, yeah,
That's funny.
I don't
That's
like
great.
no club fucking wants him.
No.
Well, maybe
I
you
just-
should just
I
fuck
just
off to
wanted
the
to throw
Saudi
that
league
in
then.
there.
MLS.
Do we
It's
even want him in
probably-
MLS?
It's either MLS or Saudi because no other
I-
club wants him.
He's been linked to the Saudis. I think he'll go to the Saudi Arabian league.
No, because they weren't giving him as much money as he wanted.
Well, he doesn't have very many options anymore, so
I know, but I'm just saying.
he's gonna have to take what he gets. I don't really care about that crybaby. You know what would be crazy to me? If he starts for us and he gets like 30 goals, I'll lose my fucking mind.
Okay,
Anything can be
who's your-
bandaged.
Who's your second striker?
Right now, I mean, the two strikers that I think are going to play, I think Nicholas Jackson's going to be number one.
Okay, so that's your.
I think that when he comes back from injury, Armando Broja is going to be our
that's right.
backup. You know, and I'm excited because I look at our team. You know, I like Hakim Ziyech, but he doesn't want to be there, so Hakim Ziyech could leave. We have, what's his name? Diogo Moreira from Portugal. He's 19. We have Nicholas Jackson, who he's 24. We have, or 22, something around there. We have Madueke, Armando Broja, Mudryk, and Kunku, Sterling. Like, I am very optimistic about the youthful approach, and it's the first time I think in a long time that I've seen a Chelsea squad and thought, "Oh, that's exciting." And so I'm. What are you doing? And so I am. No, you're good. So I'm very excited to see who else leaves and who else we bring in, because today we were linked with apparently we had threw a $42 million bid in for Lavia from Southampton.
Oh, really?
So
Damn.
we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm excited. So
How do you feel about the midfield though?
Better now than I did before. I'm obviously sad that Mason Mount left, but if he doesn't want to be here and they're not paying him the money, I mean, fair dues. You gotta leave.
What about Christian Pulisic?
I think Christian Pulisic. I've said it before many times. I think that relationship was not good, and as the years have gone by and the more managers have gone through, both the team and Pulisic needed a fresh start. So I think it's great for Christian Pulisic to have been able to move to AC Milan, and I think it's great for Chelsea to have been able to get him off our books.
So you're mad that he left?
He's lighting up Milan in preseason, by the way.
It's preseason. Relax.
That's I know. I said in preseason he's lighting it up for Milan.
Preseason.
Yeah,
you should be happy, Milan boy.
Yeah, I'm not mad that Christian Pulisic left, because again, I didn't mind Christian Pulisic at Chelsea. I said I never once said that Christian Pulisic couldn't make it at Chelsea. I said that Christian Pulisic was very injury prone and he could never regain that form he captured like right before COVID took over, where he looked like he was scoring like every fucking game. That Christian Pulisic we never resaw through the years, and with the more coaches that came through, and him being constantly linked with other clubs and being linked with a move away, I just think it was good for both parties. I have no bad blood for him. I was one that said I think he needs one for his own career, because he's still 24. Like he can't be stuck at Chelsea, and we can't. It was pretty obvious that, and rightfully so, I didn't think he wanted to be at Chelsea anymore. The hard part is we were paying him so much money that no one else wanted to match those wages. So the fact that we were able to get those wages off, a player is now happier playing somewhere else, and we have space to bring in other players that have a fresh start with us too. I think it's a good all around. There's no anger or anything towards it.
I know Daniel's the hater.
Yeah, I mean, I get where Daniel's coming from. He plays for our the rival national team. But, I mean, for club, I'm perfectly fine with, I just literally said that I think Gabriel Salina, if they handle his trajectory right,
you are the only rational Chelsea fan that exists.
Well, you gotta leave biasness out. And you also gotta look at what you have, And I think Chelsea fans, I would say 90% of us are very short-minded, but they've also gotten accustomed to having Abramovich, and when you look at what Abramovich did, and I've said this before on this podcast, yes, we were winning, and yes, we were winning titles, and we were staying successful, but we never really ever were like an amazing squad. We haven't had a really, really good squad probably in the last 10, 15 years. I think the closest one is the one we won the Champions League with. And that squad was ripped apart shortly after. So, I mean, we haven't had a phenomenal squad in a long time. So, I'm excited to see what could be done. But yeah, I think that's everything I
just want to note how you're sad about Mason Mount leaving, but not about Kovacic leaving. So he must not be that good of a player for y'all.
Kovacic. The reason I'm sad about Kovacic leaving, I was sad when Kovacic left at the beginning of the transfer window, was one, Mason Mount. I love Mason Mount, and I think he gave us something similar to Nkunku, but I think Nkunku does it at a higher level. So with that one, it's kind of like, all right, Mason Mount left, but we have Nkunku.
Mm-hmm.
With Kovacic, the reason I was really sad is I think Kovacic is our best like progressive carrying fielder. Like he would break the lines, he could take the ball forward. He was very, progressive with his passing. I think he was the best at starting those type of transitional moves because Conte is not that. And as he gets older and more injury, or as he was getting more, injury prone, he was losing that ability. And then obviously he left. Conor Gallagher, I think is great, but I don't think he is he doesn't possess that same, like on the ball carries that Kovacic did. And then, yeah, Enzo Fernandez, I think just he's great at, passing the ball out wide, picking those long balls out towards our wingers. And, he's great at pressing and he can win challenges. But I think he needs and we need a actual DM that can sit by him, do the defensive work, and let him go further forward. We were linked with Edson Alvarez, and I think that would have been great, but West Ham ended up getting him, if reports are true. So Caicedo would be the second choice, but I think we would have paid $40 million for Edson Alvarez. We're gonna pay, if we get Caicedo, $80 million, and those two players, I think Edson is more defensive than Caicedo is, so I just can't justify paying $80 million for Caicedo. And I do think if we get Lavia in, he does more of that defensive duty, but I also think we're overpaying for him. So, I mean, like the midfield. Go ahead.
I thought Lavia was a defender.
No, Lavia's a defensive midfielder. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
So you guys haven't signed any midfielders yet?
We've signed midfielders, just not midfielders that you probably like. Not anyone of like, what's the word, like
anybody that would start?
Well, I mean, we got Okuchukwu, we got Gabriel from Santos, we got and Kunku. Like, I mean, he finally came this season, and then we promoted player. Well, I mean, we're getting Callum Hudson-Odoi back from loan. Carne Chuamenke is back.
That's out of pocket.
What?
Brandon, he like silently laughed hysterically when you said Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Oh, I agree, but we got Callum Hudson-Odoi back. We
I thought he was going to Fulham.
He might. I don't know. He's still with us. Cassidy, he's been promoted to the first team. Like I said, we got Andre Santos. So like we look better than we did at the beginning of the transfer window. So,
I'm gonna throw a name out, and I want your opinion on him.
Me?
How do you think? Huh?
Yeah, Edward Vento.
Yes, I want Edward's opinion too.
Yeah. I want your opinion on him. How do you think he'd fit in Chelsea, and how much you would be willing to pay for him?
Okay.
Tyler Adams.
Never ever say that again. And now I'm kidding. Tyler Adams. No, I think he would be good. Honestly, out of all the midfield players, I think him and Edson Alvarez made the most sense because I do think both of them are strong, tall, aerially dominant, can defend well, like to kind of hold that position behind the two midfielders. I think we would have had to pay $40 million for Edson Alvarez because he's coming from Ajax, who are in the Champions League and a Dutch team, and they wanted nothing less than 40. If we were to go for Tyler Adams, I think he'd work really well with releasing Enzo. Like I said, I think tactically he'd be better for what we're trying to do than like when we were saying Arsenal, or Liverpool or stuff like that. I think having him sit with another midfielder back there would be great. And since he's at Leeds, I would say I would probably pay 25. Get him on a cut deal since they're in the championship. Get him on a cut deal and get those wages off their books. And I mean, I think it'd be a great move.
He's been quoted to be worth like 20 mil. So
yeah, well, I think 25 because I think if he had stayed in the Prem, I think he'd be worth at least 35. So
Right.
being in the championship, that's a cut price with that. I don't think we could get anything less than 20. I think 25 would be fair.
You're like the only Chelsea fan in the world that thinks that.
Well, okay.
I don't understand why he's getting so much hate from Chelsea fans. And I do think I know why. I think it's because Pulisic experiment didn't necessarily end up being a success, and the majority of Chelsea fans are British, and there's a stigma against American players from British fans. So I think that's clouding their judgment, and I think if they actually sat down and watched Tyler Adams play, they would know that he's a good enough player for Chelsea.
Yeah, I will say if I don't think there is an agenda against American players, just based on
I'm
how
not
many-
saying agenda. I just mean
I know,
they look at
stigma.
they view Americans differently than they view English or Spanish or whatever.
Well, and I think there's a lot of variables to that. I do think part of it is the United States England rivalry, and that's a lot of it. I feel like is because not. I would say you look on social media. You look on. Are you good over there?
No, my butt's cramping up.
But you look on social media and stuff.
I can help with that.
Oh,
I'm gonna need someone to rub it out because it fucking hurts.
Oh, I'll rub you out.
Oh Lord.
No.
But I what I think it is like, especially as this crop of US players has been better than the ones we've seen previously, with a lot more being at a better level. I think that when you look at, if you go on the socials of teams, on the transfer things, you see a lot of, I'm not saying you guys, but you see a lot of American fans, USA fans, that I don't know, like, it almost feels like, and you value your players, and you should value your players because they're at a good level, but it almost feels like you're asking people to recognize, like, instead of you being like, no, they're good, just look at them, it's like, no, they're good, you're blind, you're stupid, you're blind, whatever. I think that is what leaves a bitter taste in those British people's mouths, and I think that's why they're also like against USA players. Now I was telling Daniel, I think the other logistic part of it is registration requirements and stuff, which is why we don't see a lot of USA, Mexico, Canadian players in the Prem, because it's harder to do that. But not talking about that, I just do think it is. I agree with you. It is a big part of it, is that rivalry. But if you're looking at it just from a tactical standpoint, I think, like I said, we need someone that can sit in that position, take care of a bulk of that the defensive work, and let Enzo Fernandez be a little bit more free flowing and move up where he's better. So, I mean, if you look at it just from a tactical point of view, I think it'd been great. Like the two that we were linked with, or of all the midfielders we were linked with, him and Netson Alvarez were my first two choices because they made the most sense tactically. So, and if you want to do it from a price point of view, Tyler Adams makes more sense because he's in the championship and he'd be cheaper.
Well, do we want to wrap it up there, or?
I mean, we could do a predictions, but it's getting late, and I know you have to work in the morning, and I have to work in the morning. So it's up to you guys, because I think that the predictions are going to take, like, I don't think it's going to be quick.
I mean, we can make it quick. We can just
we can do it
fire. Just short fire.
Yeah, we don't have to explain every single position.
Okay.
We can just rapid fire.
Okay, yeah, we can do it. I mean, I'm down for it.
I mean, I can go first since I have my list ready.
I have my list ready.
Anyone else has them.
I figured we do it all at once. We'll just go 20th to 1st, all of us. That way we're not reading 4 different lists.
Oh.
Unless you want to read 4 different lists.
No, not really.
Exactly. So who's everyone have?
So we all say our 20th. We all say our 19th. We all say 18th.
Exactly.
Okay.
That way we all say what we think, and then we can post these on Twitter or something.
All right, 20th, I have Sheffield.
I have Bournemouth.
Ooh.
I have Wolves.
Ooh.
20th.
20th?
Damn.
That's not a bad shout with all the
That
with
is not a
everything-
bad shout.
with everything going on. It's not a bad shout.
All right. Well, I have low hanging fruit. I have Luton.
Oh, poor Luton.
That's good segue because I have them 19th.
I have the 19th.
I also have the 19th.
Yeah, big up Luton.
Well,
You gotta
I'll
get
have
some
the odd
points.
man out.
Did y'all forget relegated?
I have Sheffield.
All right, fair enough.
I have Everton in 18th.
I have Everton at
Ooh.
18th. Me and Eddie know what's up. Who you got? Who you got for 18?
I just think you play with fire for too long, you're finally gonna get burned.
I'm with Eddie 100%.
Yeah.
100% with Eddie.
I think they're gonna be in another relegation battle, but I think they'll finish 17th.
Okay,
But-
well, who's your 18?
I said Sheffield.
Okay.
No, you just said Sheffield.
No, you had Sheffield 19.
No,
Oh,
he's-
I did.
Yeah, who do you have?
I
Or no,
did.
he had Luton 19.
Okay,
he
he
had
said
Sheffield
Sheffield.
18. That's
Okay,
right. That's
okay.
right. That's right.
Fair
Okay.
enough, fair enough,
Sorry,
fair enough, fair enough.
Brandon 18.
Well, you said Everton. I want to say Burnley, but Everton's probably this one.
I think Burnley is gonna have that shock factor that other teams have had in the past.
I think Burnley's going to be good, but I think they're being a little overhyped right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I agree. I got them a little higher, not further up.
Yeah, they're not too much. They're not too. Okay, 16th I have Wolves.
Wait, we
Or no,
skipped
we're on
17.
17.
We skipped 17.
17 I have Forest. I think Forest just barely survived.
I have Sheffield.
I said Everton.
17. I have Palace.
Okay. I mean, they
Yeah,
lost Zaha, so I mean, it could.
Oh, true. And they might lose Eze as well.
So it could.
Chelsea.
And just I don't rate Roy Hodgson as a manager.
I
So-
do. You didn't watch the interview?
That's fair.
What interview?
I don't think I sent it. The interview with him and Gary Neville. It was a good interview. I actually really liked Roy Hudson as a person after the interview. I wouldn't sign him for Chelsea, but I liked his insight.
All right. 16 Wolves.
I'm also have Wolves at 16th. Eddie.
Dude, our list
Eddie knows
I
ball.
had them dead last. I just had them dead last.
It could happen now that Lopetegui's walked out.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah, I said Crystal Palace.
There
Okay.
you
Okay.
go. Burnley.
Okay. Fair enough.
15, I had Crystal Palace.
15th, I have West Ham.
Yeesh.
Damn.
I
They made some good
I know.
signings.
They made the two that I'm impressed with was it Ward Prowse and Edson Alvarez.
That's an Alvarez.
But those are two players, and while they're good, I don't know if they will be able to band-aid every issue there.
Fair enough. Who'd you
Daniel?
say, Daniel?
Forest.
Okay.
That I have Forest there as well.
Okay.
14th, I have Bournemouth.
14th, I
That's
have
what-
Burnley.
I also have Burnley 14th.
Wolves 14th.
Ooh, someone has
Damn,
faith in
I'm
Wolves.
the only one who shit on Wolves.
Yeah, you piece of shit for that one.
I
Huh?
have.
What did I do?
No, nothing.
No, I'm just saying that all of you guys pretty much predicted that Wolves was going to be out of relegation. I said that they were going to be relegated and that they were going to be dead last.
I mean, I think they could get relegated. I just think everyone under them is worse.
I agree with that. I think, yeah, the bottom half is shit.
I just
it really is.
Like, for how good the top half is, I honestly think everyone from 12 to 20 could easily get relegated.
Like I think from my
like, if I'm being completely honest,
I-
everyone on my list from 12 to 20, I could see getting relegated.
I think from my list from 13th to 17th, any of them could be relegated, not because they're bad, just because they don't have the consistency in the squads. That's why I think. But
Okay, where are we? 13 now?
13th, yeah.
We're at 13th.
13, I have Burnley.
Crystal Palace.
All right, I guess I'll go. Bournemouth.
While Daniel's looking that
Yeah.
up, you think Bournemouth are gonna be safe from relegation?
I do.
yeah, yeah.
I don't see
Why
it.
not?
I don't think they're good
I
enough.
kind of like what they're cooking.
I agree. I just don't think it'll be enough this season.
Well,
Especially with the top 6 all beefing up. We're about to see a lot of teams get better.
the
I
top
haven't-
6.
I haven't said Everton, have I?
No, you
No.
did.
Has he?
I don't think he has said Everton.
Oh, maybe not. I thought you did.
And we're in 13th, right?
Yeah.
Come on,
That was making his list right now. that was like,
I am making it off the top of my head. But
you should write down the teams you're picking so you know what teams not to pick again.
yeah. Yeah, Everton should not be that high.
Move them. Move someone.
Move someone.
Yeah. I think I said
You said
I'll switch
Burnley for.
yeah, I'll swap Burnley out for Everton.
Okay.
Okay.
So
fair
Burnley 13th for you and me.
enough. Fair enough.
12. I have West Ham.
Oof. Nottingham Forest. And you're gonna like why I have Nottingham Forest 12, Eddie and Brandon.
Hey man, I think he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna keep them up.
I
But
think
barely.
I think if it wasn't for him, I think it's 16, 17. I think his saves are going to
Well, I
win
was
them
gonna say
points.
he's exactly the kind of goalie they need.
Yeah, he's not the playing with this feet kind of goalie. He's a shot stopper. And they need a shot
Exactly.
stopper.
That is exactly what they need. Yeah, you're right.
I'll say
right.
Brentford.
Okay.
What?
Brentford? Okay.
Brentford 12.
Oh, I thought you said Brighton. I was about to say.
No, they're gonna have that fall off.
I have West Ham at 12 as well.
Damn, y'all have more faith in West Ham than
Yeah.
I do. Skamaka ran away like a coward. I can't respect them.
Yeah, but the other team, I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Like
with
I
you.
said, I think everyone below them is just worse.
That's fair.
They're
That's
still
fair.
bad, but everyone below them is worse.
Well, and I mean,
Uh,
I guess same thing. Like from 12 to 17, anyone can get relegated, but also anyone can
Yeah.
finish anywhere. So who's
Yeah.
to say?
11th, I have Fulham.
Damn it, Eddie.
I have Brentford.
Okay. Well, I had Fulham at 11th as well.
Why is that bad?
We can have the same prediction.
Yeah, but it sounds so.
I'll put West Ham at 11th.
Okay. Fair enough.
10th, I have Brentford.
God.
10th, I have.
I have a
Fulham.
feeling, Brandon, we might have the same top
Yeah.
11.
10th, I have Fulham.
I'll put Fulham at 10th as well.
Yeah, we have Brentford, obviously.
9th, I have Brighton.
9th, I have
Okay.
Brighton.
Yeah.
I have Tottenham. I'm just kidding. I don't have Tottenham at 9th.
Damn,
Nah.
salty.
No, I think I think Brighton probably would be in 9th just because all the other teams.
Everyone got better, and they've lost too much.
Yeah.
I still think they'll be good. I just think everyone got better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
That's
above
where
them
I'm
got
at.
better.
Everyone just got a lot better.
But it's also
Yeah.
deserved. We'll see what the second season's like.
Yeah, this will be big for him.
If he's big, if he finishes top 6, he's going to a big job. He'll be at City once Pep leaves, and then it'll be over for everyone.
I have Brighton in 10th as well.
Or 9th.
That was
9th.
9th.
I was at 9th? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right.
So we all have
9th.
Brighton in 9th. Okay.
I have Aston Villa in 8th.
Aston Villa. Daniel
It's
Rand.
also between Villa and
My
Tottenham.
pick was Aston Villa. Okay.
Wait, we all picked Aston Villa 8th?
I said it's a toss up between Aston Villa and Tottenham for 8th.
Right now, who you putting your money on?
I'm putting Villa ahead of Villa.
I'll put Tottenham
Spurs
ahead of Villa. So I'll put Villa in 8th as well.
Okay.
Villa's in it.
Okay.
So wait, did we all agree on a position?
Yeah, we all just had Villa 8th.
All right.
I've Spurs in 7th.
Yeah.
I'll put Spurs in 7th as well.
I put Chelsea 7th.
Ooh.
I even though it looks promising, we still have a long way to go. So I think
I agree, but I have Chelsea 6th.
I have Man United 6th.
Ooh.
6th.
6th.
Man United,
Didn't you just say that they were going to win the league?
not me.
Who said
I
that?
did. I did.
You're
I
a fraud, like Kai Havertz. You fraud.
I think that with even though they signed some good players, it's not enough. They need more. It's not enough. And I think they've strengthened less than the other teams have. So for me, 6th.
Anywho, I have Newcastle 6th.
What? That's crazy to me.
That's
But
a
I
good
don't-
segue
but
because I
respectful.
have Newcastle 5th.
Okay, there you go.
I have Tottenham 5th. And with 5th being Champions League, I think Tottenham's getting back in the Champions League.
Champions
I'll
League
put
now?
United 5th.
Yeah, they added. We're most likely going to have the 5th spot for Champions League with the coefficient rules that are coming in.
Oh, because they're. That's right. Okay. I have Chelsea 5th.
Hey, someone believes in us, not me.
United 5th for me.
Okay, fair enough.
I have Liverpool in 4th.
I have Liverpool in 4th.
Toss it between Newcastle and Liverpool.
Who do you think will do better?
Probably Newcastle because they've signed better players, or they signed more players where Liverpool's only signed 2. And they're good, and those are 2 good players, but they need more depth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put Liverpool there.
Okay. Brandon?
Liverpool.
Oh, okay. 3rd place?
I have Arsenal.
Who? I have Newcastle.
I'll put Newcastle there.
I have City in 3rd.
I thought about that. I thought about City 3rd.
Wow.
I don't think we're gonna win the league.
I don't either. I have City in 2nd.
I have City in 2nd.
That's where I put my boys at.
I have Arsenal in 2nd.
Oh, you think City's going to win the league, Brandon?
No, I just
No,
put
he-
City in 3rd.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
So Brandon and I share the same sentiment. I have
Liverpool.
Manchester United winning the league.
It's gonna be like one of the old classics, United Arsenal
But I
battle
think
it out.
1 through 4, I could see it being decided by 5 points
Yeah.
or less.
It's gonna be close for sure.
I have Arsenal winning it.
I have Arsenal winning it as well.
The only reason I think Arsenal going to win it is because since every season, they've improved.
Yeah.
They've never digressed, and they've improved by a lot.
They digressed last season when they fumbled a 10-point lead.
But they didn't digress.
Bitches.
But they didn't digress in the sense of where they
They
finished
digressed in the
standing.
table. In that table they
We
did.
didn't digress in the table. We went from 5th to 2nd.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you went from 1st to 2nd.
And then you're going to go from 1st division to 3rd division. Now shut up.
No, they're gonna go from
Where's
first
your
division to what is it?
To
Non-league.
the administration, the Vararian League, whatever it's fucking called. Yeah, you gonna be League One. Wrexham's gonna be beating you 6-0.
I'll get beat by Ryan Reynolds, so it's fine.
He'll be doing the Fortnite L dance on you.
Yeah, you'll be getting beat up. But,
Oh, well, okay. But
Oh, hey.
that's interesting. I mean, that we all we have similar thoughts. Will be an interesting season. The format of this podcast, we don't know 100% what it's going to be yet still. I think there were talks that we want to do live streams and stuff, but we'll see how that develops. We're changing the name, allegedly.
For branding purposes.
yeah.
But it's good to get back on
I missed
the
this.
mic.
I've missed this. I miss
Yeah,
recording.
this was nice.
He's like about to fall asleep.
The season officially starts.
This is
I'm not about.
This is
I'm going to
Brandon.
fall asleep.
This is
I'm not
Brandon.
about-
God, this was great. Anyways. No, it's fine. No, I really did miss this. I missed the footy talk with my friends. It's been good.
Yeah, same.
Same here.
It's been good. And now we
Yeah,
have
some interesting opinions.
now we're able to clip things up and get cancels for them, so it'd be great.
Now we have video.
We have video.
Yay.
Hey! Once I figure out how to do audio, we'll have audio as well. Which I think I do know how to, so it'll be great.
So this is just going to be a video of us mute.
No, the audio. Okay, the audio in the sense that I can splice that track into a podcast form. Do you understand now?
I was just kidding.
I'll stab you.
Uh,
I'm gonna fight him. I swear to God. Yes, this is just you
Yeah,
mute. I'm muting you for sure. I don't know
I
how
can,
much.
That is
I don't know how I'm gonna do it
Steve's
yet,
man.
but I'm gonna mute you.
Daddy.
Candace
I could just mute
Steve's.
myself.
I can mute you too.
How are you gonna mute me?
Very easily, actually. There's lots of things I can do, Mr. Mayan Prince.
Can you mute me like as the host?
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
and
be
I-
giving out his username
And I
like
can
that.
kick you. Ah!
They're gonna see it on the screen anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what the magic of editing is there
The
for.
magic of editing.
How'd you even see that?
Just leave our names in.
Yeah, leave the names in.
You'll be
It
fine.
makes us more relatable.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll blur it. But anyways, I think that's everything, right, guys?
For the most part.
Changing the format a little bit. I think someone else is gonna host next week's episode, so it'll be good. It'll be a good time.
We'll actually have games to talk about.
We're back, baby. It'll be great. So lots of things to look forward to, and lots of things that we're gonna
Back like
figure
we
out.
never left.
Oh, we definitely left, but it's a good time. It's good to be back.
Yes,
Alright.
sir.
All right.
100% good to be there. Oh wait, did we talk about? Well, I guess we. Okay, hold on a second. Just sign off, and then we can talk about this after.
Oh, okay.
See y'all later, folks.
Peace.